Hey everyone, it's me. I'm wearing makeup and this is not a common thing for me as you see from my previous videos, but I wanted to make a video that might help other people, and it's something that has been going on for about 3 years in my life. And it's hard to talk about because when you expose family secrets, um, I might end up being blackballed and basically taken out of the family tree by certain people. Just to give you a recap, I was raised in a Catholic family. My mom was the oldest of eight. I have, on my mom's side, six remaining aunts and uncles. They're all married, and I have a multitude of first cousins. And my dad also had two brothers, and I had some cousins on that side as well. So my I was raised that family is everything. Ties that bind. You are all about family. And I was raised in a loving family. Grandma and Grandpa were married. My mom's parents were married for many, many years until my grandpa passed away. And then my grandma lived to the age of 100, and she passed away 3 years ago. And since then, my once close family has basically disbanded. And I'll kind of explain why. My mom's sister, younger sister, had never moved out of the house and ended up being my grandparents' caretaker and lived in the house when my grandma was passing away. She just always stayed at home, and that's the way the family was. And so lo and behold, my uncle, my grandma, the executor of the will told the family grandma had signed the house and her accounts over to my aunt, and my aunt would be living in the house until she decided to sell and move, or until she's no longer with us. And the day my grandma was passing away, or she was in respite care in her home, and we were all there. And oh, the day she passed away, I went um, and I grabbed one of my grandma's sweaters out of the closet in the kitchen because it was chilly out. And I went into the garage, and I said to my cousin and my aunts, I'll just probably take this home, because my grandma didn't care. And I go back in the house, and my uncle, the executor, said, "Put that sweater back. Nothing is to leave this house." And I said, "Okay." And so I did it. And then the day my grandma was buried, I was one of the remaining people after everyone gathered to eat. It was my mom, her two sisters, my uncle, his wife, and myself. And my mom went into the closet and said, "Here, take this sweater home with you." And I said, "Okay." And I was really excited. Within a couple of hours later, I received a call that said my aunt, who had been gifted the home, was stating she wanted me to return the sweater. So I said, "Okay." And since then, I have kind of been ousted from my family, and we no longer gather. My mom's been fighting about the will, fighting about her rights to her portion of the inheritance, etc. And it's just really kind of the saddest thing, because when you're raised in a very close family with lots of cousins, aunts, and uncles, and you're always together, when it doesn't happen as you get older, it's just really sad. And what happened after the whole sweater debacle, I wrote each one of my aunts and uncles a letter, and I said, "I appreciate you being a part of my life. Because of you, I was raised in a loving family with stability. These are my special memories, etc." And I have not really, except one uncle and his wife, have received any sort of letter. Thank you. No thank yous. No, that's great. So what I realized is I have to let go of the fantasy of what I thought family was. It's really sad because I have one cousin I'm particularly close with, and he has 3 boys that are just the light of my life, and I get to see them and spend time with them, and it's, uh, it's sad because I live in an area where I've run into different cousins, and we always greet one another, and I've talked with one of my other male cousins, and I said, I'm really sorry for what my mom did and that she caused so much upset in the family, and I said, let's keep in touch, and I've tried, and it just keeps d dwindling. So I just wanna say that I'm not trying to out my family. It's that when I talked with my aunt, I saw one of my aunts at the gym. This was back in February, and I had to remove all of my family kind of just to give myself peace of mind so I could heal. And I saw my aunt at the gym, and she said, I love you. And I said, I know I love you too. But I had to disconnect because everyone was mad at me. And and she says, well, I'll get a hold of you in a couple of weeks. And that was back in February. So, anyways, I just want to say that in my family, I mean, this is what I'm going to out, and this is what I'm going to talk about. In my maternal family, my grandfather was this hardcore Catholic, and anything that went against the Catholic religion, and my grandma, on the other hand, was very loving and kind. So when I got a divorce from my then husband way back in, I think it was 1999, my grandpa and my husband at that time had been very close, and I get a divorce, and my grandpa refused to talk to me. And when I would see him, he would like go to kiss him, and he'd turn his face from me. And I had been, my grandma and I would play Scrabble every week. And I said, Grandma, can I come over? And she says, well, your grandpa doesn't want you here anymore. And it took 5 years of me staying away for someone to say, well, Grandpa, he says that's your life, and that's just the way it is. And then I was allowed to come back. So I'm just saying it's sad, and I miss my family, and I get married, and I'm with my husband, and I really wish they could meet my husband, and I really wish, as a Christian family, that they could come around and realize that I am of no threat to anyone. So I just want to say that I'm not trying to out my family, but I'm sad because it's just not there anymore. So to my family, I love you. The sweater thing was not of my choosing. I returned it. I'm sorry that, Grandpa was hardcore, and he was at times an unforgiving person, and he was very judgmental. And I feel, unfortunately, this is happening all over again. And so I wish we could mirror Grandma, loving, kind, accepting, just forgiving, etc. So I love everyone, but I miss you, and I hope all is well. Bye-bye.